Here's the plan. Brand new level 1 druid, I've basically never tanked a day in my life. And I've decided the only way I'm allowed to reach 70 is by grinding dungeons. Every level, in a group, as the tank. Learning the whole thing live in front of complete strangers. No safety net, no experience, just a very confused bear in a group of people relying on me not to get us all killed. This is either the best idea I've ever had or the most embarrassing. Let's find out. This is a brand new series. A fresh Alliance Druid tank. Level 1 all the way up to full best in slot. This is Iorekk. I'm new to WoW and brand new to tanking. I want to learn as much as I can on the way to 70 and into endgame. There's a twist to how we get there. I want to try a newbie version of Dungeon Locked. I only reach 70 by grinding dungeons. No leveling out in the world. Other classes usually sit in a queue forever and quest to fill the gaps. As a tank, I can get invited instantly or just build my own group. And every run teaches me the job just by doing it. So we're going in dungeons, top to bottom, all the way up. If that's your kind of nonsense, subscribing genuinely helps. Let's get into it. A couple of rules first, because a challenge is only fun if it's honest. I've seen creators do a real solo dungeon locked, but as a new player, that's a fantasy. This is classic, and you can't solo a dungeon, unless you're massively overleveled. So this is more like, can a brand new player learn to tank and reach 70 running only dungeon groups? I'll follow the group finder's recommended levels, and I'd love to run every dungeon at least a couple of times on the way up. A few are basically horde only, like the Wailing Caverns. If it turns out Alliance can queue it, I'll try. And if not, maybe that's my excuse to roll horde later. No side quests either, with one exception, class quests. Anything that unlocks a druid form or ability like bear form, I always do. Because that's part of becoming the tank. Dungeon quests are fair game too, since they're literally inside the dungeon. And a few dungeons need a key, like Skolomas, so those might make the list as well. Into the game, first intro quest. Kill some cats and boars. A few more quests funnel me to the druid trainer, and I learn my first ability, Mark of the Wild. Back to the boars and I ding level 3. One more rule, and this one matters to me. No trading between accounts. Until 70, no trading gold for skills or mounts, and no items. No bags, no potions, no elixirs from another character of mine. This account stands on its own. That includes no donations from other players. Later on, someone hands me an uncommon cape and I just vendor it, because taking free gear defeats the point. A quest sends me into an infested spider cave, and I hit level 4 on the way in. There's a chest at the back, I clear the spiders, crack it open, and it's a plain cape and some food. Lame. I also dropped the boss spider, Githis the Vile. Armor barely matters at this level, but these bigger mobs can drop bags, and a bag this early would be huge. He gives me nothing but an eyeball. I sprint for the exit, and right outside I find a night elf poisoned by one of the spiders. So now I need help. Back at the starting zone, I turn in a quest for a real upgrade, a staff that basically doubles my damage, then head straight back in, which pushes me to level 5, because the follow-up wants an egg sitting right next to Githis. My bags are already a problem. I throw out food just to fit the egg, then break for the door again. I turn in, bring the antidote back to the elf, and he thanks me with some rags. Not much for saving a life, but the XP is always worth it. The trainer teaches me Moonfire and Rejuvenation. Further up the tree, Stormgrip has me fill a vial from a pond, and with that I'm sent off to Dolinar. I jump off the tree instead of taking the stairs because nobody has time for that. In Dolinar, I set my Hearthstone to the inn and grab everything. The summer festival still had a day left, so I snagged the 1 hour 10% XP buff and load up on quests. And yeah, I know, dungeons only, but I still have to physically reach level 16 for our first dungeon, the Dead Mines. So there's no way around some questing through these opening zones before I can actually get to Westfall. Consider it the tutorial before the real run. Quick look at the character, very underwhelming. Barely looks like a druid. Only level 5, but for a day 1, I'll take it. Day 2, and I immediately caved on mods. The pure classic UI, not seeing where the quest objective is, it's just not for me. Respect to the people who love it, but I'm putting LVUI back on for a full overhaul. And I'll keep tweaking it as the series goes, so expect things to move around. First job is filling another vial. I'm sure this chain is a druid questline, and those class quests are the ones I always stop for, since that's how forms and abilities unlock. In the village, I hit level 6 and run into a rare, Iorekk. I brace for a fight and he folds, drops some leggings, and points me to a guy who's hurt and can't move. So I carry the news back to Dolinar. While I'm here, I grab herbalism and cooking. Food buffs matter and I'll take every edge. Quick stop at the trainer for thorns and an upgrade to Wrath. And at the fire festival, there's a horde rogue standing suspiciously close. Hoping I'll click him and flag for PvP. I see the sword buddy, not falling for it. I head west into Banithil Barrow Den, full of dead bear-like creatures, and the trail leads me to a druid and a priest already clearing it. Same quests, so I asked for an invite and they take me. Soloing this would have been miserable. As a 3-man, we steamroll it. And when a hunter rounds us out, nothing stands a chance. We finish and head out. Back in town, a turn-in pushes me to level 9 and a staff with my first stat bonus, plus 1 stamina, another trainer trip for entangling roots, and an upgrade to healing touch. Then a cave north of town has a chest with my first bag upgrade, a 6-slot red pouch. I didn't even notice it until it was sitting in my bags, and my rare scanner lights up. Thregal is close. A little side goal, I like the idea of clearing every rare in a zone before I move on. I couldn't find them all here, and this area has no dungeon anyway, but for later zones that do, hunting the rares might be a fun way to squeeze the place dry before I leave. I start clearing toward Thregal and badly misjudge his aggro range. The mob I'm on glitches out, and I'm suddenly handling a rare and a normal at once. He's not tough. Drops a machete I can't use. On the way out, I buff a passing mage and turn in the quest for new bracers. That machete though, ridiculous looking. If transmog existed, this would be top of the list. I fill another flask, then hunt Ursol the Mauler, a pain to even reach in this bear-infested mess. He nearly drops me, but entangling roots buys me exactly enough time to survive. Back in Dolinar, I turn it in, hit level 10, and get a mace I also can't use. Quick thing I love, that unwritten rule at low levels where players just buff everyone they pass. At these levels, a buff actually matters, and I try to pay it forward every chance I get. Let's keep that alive. A new quest points me at the capital, Darnassus, and I rank up Moonfire, Mark of the Wild, and Rejuvenation on the way. First time really seeing Darnassus. I've been here on my paladin, but never noticed the tree in the center is shaped like a bear. For a bear tank, perfect welcome. I turn into Bearwalker, who gives me a Moonglade teleport, whisking me to a quiet sanctuary. Starblaze introduces me to the Great Bear Spirit, and this smells exactly like I've been waiting for. I'm sent to speak with the Bear Spirit himself, who teaches me the ways of the bear, the strength of body and heart, the way of the claw, essential backstory before I'm allowed to become the thing. Then a test back in Darnassus, face a moonkin named Lunaclaw, out in Darkshore. So I hop on a boat, find the cave, summon him with the dust, and he's no match. Grab fishing on the way back, and finally Bearwalker teaches me my very first shapeshift, bear form, the single most important tool I've got. He also hands me Demoralizing Roar, which drops the attack power of everything around me. Time to try it. First transformation, brown bear, dark mane, a little white mark on the shoulder. Real talk about bear colors, because I'm confused. I assumed a white-haired druid would get a white bear, and that's what I wanted, but I genuinely haven't looked at how other bear druids appear. Is this just the default, or can you customize it? If you know, drop it in the comments because I'd love a matching bear. The next day, quests in Darnassus send me up to the Oracle Glade, and I ding level 11 mid-Harpy. Which reminds me, I've been hoarding talent points and spent 0. I'll read through all of them, but mostly I'm following the Wohead guide for leveling a druid tank through dungeons. First talent I'm maxing is Ferocity. I drop 2 points to start, and it cuts the cost of my bear and cat abilities. Quick note for anyone new like me, bears and cats don't use mana. Bears run on rage, cats on energy. Totally different way of thinking about resources. so adjusting will be interesting, especially now that I'll be living in bear form. A chest near the Harpies has a green axe I can't use, but any green this early is a little dopamine hit. I take out a rare Fury Shelda, another off the map. Then right at the zone edge I get careless and get ambushed, set there in a pack of minions. I did not see them coming. Panicked so hard I forgot I had healing spells. Popped a potion, they slowed me, and while I'm trying not to drag a nearby spider into, yeah, first death of the run. And I nearly die again immediately, on a spider called Lady Satra. I start flailing with wraths and my staff, once again forgetting bear form exists, and only rejuvenation plus a potion scrapes me through. I turn in back at Darnassus and I'm sent to Darkshore, the Grove of the Ancients. But not before turning in a couple more quests for some purple boots. Before I leave, I double back for the rares I missed. First is Duskwalker, Moonfire Opener, Shift to Bear, done. Next is Grandma, and of course I forget bear form again. Don't worry, I get to the muscle memory eventually, it's really just today. Grandma drops a leather chest. The Pioneer Tunic of Stamina. A big +4 stamina at this level. Solid pickup, right? We'll see how long it lasts. Then I pair alchemy with my herbalism in Darnassus. The logic? I'll be picking up tons of herbs. I'm not great at gold, and I'm about to spend this series grinding dungeons and dying a lot. So I need a reliable supply of potions and elixirs. And the easiest way is just to make them for myself. If you main a druid, I'm curious what professions you run. First batch is an elixir of Lion's Strength and an elixir of Minor Defense. On the way back to Darkshore, I die to an invisible fire left from the festival. Thanks, Blizzard. A short flight to Aberdeen, turn in the quest, level 12. Third point into Ferocity. 2 green items to close the day. 4 more levels before that first dungeon. A few minutes around Aberdeen for quests, and Tools of the Highborn gets me a Bracer upgrade. Quick backtrack to Darnassus Port, where I find out that Festival Fire Crit bonus can still be triggered off the exact fire that killed me yesterday. Back in Darkshore, I head south along the shore, where big animal carcasses have washed up. A kind priest bails me out when murlocs jump me off of one. I'd have died there without it. Turning in the remains gets me level 13. I swim out for a piece of sea turtle, and that hands me the dry weed belt, +7 armor and +2 stamina. The green set is coming together. I help a hunter taming a pet, saving him from a leopard, and he drops some green pants. 2 minutes later, a specter drops a green bow. Is this a normal amount of greens? Feels like I'm getting lucky. 4th point into Ferocity, 4 out of 5. And another green drops right after that. Also, quietly in the background, I've been leveling herbalism. And it's so much nicer than mining. Nodes are everywhere. Mining felt like dedicating hours just scouting for veins. Herbs, you trip over them. I push south of the Grove of the Ancients, and there are even more beached creatures. I keep wondering why they're washing up. The questline probably explains it, but I doubt I'll finish it. I hand 2 samples to Gwyneth for a bracer upgrade, then head north for the Vagabond leggings. My first +1 agility, and for a bear tank, agility might be the stat to chase. Crit, dodge, and armor all at once. Stamina and strength matter too, for health and attack power, but agility's the one. 2 more creatures later, I ding level 14 and drop the last point to max ferocity. I loot a chest of sellable junk, hearth back to Darnassus, and log off in the inn for rested XP. Day 5 starts with training everything. First aid, then alchemy, where I learned a potion that heals 2 health every 5 seconds for an hour. The trainer mentions a spell to cure poisons, so I take the quest. To learn it, I need water from the mouth of a Darkshore waterfall. In Aberdeen, I clear a few quests and poke at a strange red crystal, which gets me jumped by Moomkins. At the waterfall, the second I grab the sample, 2 sirens spawn and lay onto me. I badly underestimated them. Huge damage, way too much health. and by the time I try to run, it's too late. Second death. And no, I'm still not counting the bonfire. I gather the rest of the cure, mushrooms, and a bit of the earth root I already had in my bags, and nearly die a third time going back for that crystals quest. Worth it though. The reward is the oak thrush staff. More damage, more stamina, plus 2 intellect. I finish by dosing a bunch of sickly deer, and back in Darnassus I'm taught cure poison. I'm closing in on level 14, 2 more until the first dungeon, and the Dead Mines is in Westfall, the complete opposite side of the world, so it's the long haul across the eastern kingdoms. I thought about running it, then remembered there's a boat from Darkshore to Menethil Harbor. 100-ish hours of playtime finally paying off. From Menethil, the only route I do know to Stormwind is a long walk through wetlands, up into Ironforge, and down. Traveling like this gives me such a sense of scale. The world feels massive, and clearly built with care, but at the same time very underused. Leave the main hubs and it goes quiet. Following the road, I didn't even need my map. I navigated just using the signposts. I crossed the gate, ding level 15, and reach my favorite city in the game, Ironforge, a fortress carved into the side of a mountain. Real Lord of the Rings, Dwemer ruins from Skyrim nostalgia. I'm rolling a dwarf at some point. I'm about to set off on foot for Stormwind when my slightly bigger Wobrain remembers there's a tram straight there, skipping 2 dangerous zones. I catch it, and a few seconds later, I'm now in Stormwind. I also spot an instance portal at the end of a canal between the Trade District and Old Town. I've been here endlessly on my Paladin, and I swear I've never seen it. No idea what it is. I find the Druid trainer in the park, rank up, and wandering nearby, I stumble on a tavern with a book inside about the War of the Ancients. I thought this was a real interesting piece of lore here. The War of the Ancients was the Night Elves fighting for the whole world. This was the first time the Legion was ever let in, and it nearly ended everything. I set my Hearthstone to the inn and make my way out of Stormwind. Into Westfall, this is where it gets real, where the tanking journey actually begins. 1 level left, so I grab quests, and a friendly player by the Flightmaster trades me the Pathfinder Cloak of the Monkey. I see +3 agility, +3 stamina, and just accept it without thinking twice. Then it hits me. I have a rule about not taking gear from other players. I do sell it later, which I know I should have destroyed it, but it was a gift and I couldn't bring myself to trash it. It was only around 10 silver. I grabbed some quests near Sentinel Hill, farmed bandits for red bandanas, and turned them in for the Cloak of the People's Militia, +2 agility. Last leveling day. A couple of things to wrap before I leave questing for good. I'm half a level from 16, and I need the questline that leads into the Dead Mines. I grab Humble Beginnings in Stormwind, assuming it's part of the Dead Mines chain. I trek back to Westfall, grab a compass from an abandoned house, a druid had already cleared it so it was pretty easy, and fly it back. I expect a follow-up, and nothing. So, not a Dead Mines quest. Then I run out to the Lakeshire in Redridge for the Defias Brotherhood, which is the real chain into the dungeon. And this one deserves a setup, because it's some of the best low-level story in the game. After the Second War, the Stonemasons Guild rebuilt Stormwind from rubble, and when it was done, the nobility refused to pay them. Surprising, I know, right? Betrayed, their leader Edwin van Cleef took his people underground and formed the Defias Brotherhood. They seized Westfall, turned to banditry, and holed up in an old gold mine beneath Moonbrook, the Dead Mines, where, the whispers say, they're building something enormous. So this whole questline is me pulling the thread straight to Van Cleef's front door. I fly back to Westfall, turn in, and grab the follow-up back to Stormwind. This chain is honestly a tour of every flight path in the region. I report to Matthias Shaw, leader of the SI-7, which sounds like exactly the spy business I want no part of, and he sends me right back to Westfall. Ryan wants me to get information out of a messenger near the mine entrance. I find him, but before I engage, I ask if anyone needs the quest. A warrior does. So I invite him. I start interrogating the messenger. The warrior joins and the guy bolts. Fast. I chase him down and swipe him out. Next is escorting a Defias trader to the hideout. Which, wait, what was the point of recovering the message if a trader just walks us to the front door? Another warrior then joins, we clear the town, the quest is done. I tell Ryan where the hideout is, and the reward tips me into level 16. That unlocks Swipe from the Trainer, my AoE, and it's going to be essential for holding a dungeon. It hits up to 3 enemies for 10 damage. I've heard druids struggle with AoE threat, so we'll see how far this gets me. I drop my next 2 points into Feral Instinct for a 10% threat boost in bear form. One last thing, hitting 16 opens the questline for my second shapeshift. Back in Darnassus, Bear Walker starts it. And in Moonglade I recover a bubble from the lake and activate it at the shrine. Then, for aquatic form, I track down 2 halves of a necklace. The first off the far northern coast of Darkshore, not a short walk, where I nearly died to what might as well be the Loch Ness Monster. The second, a deep dive off the Westfall coast. I teleport back, combine them, and that completes the trial of the Sea Lion. Back to Bear Walker for the final turn-in, and I'm rewarded with the Aquarius belt, and, more importantly, aquatic form. Every quest is now done. The character is finally set and ready to actually start tanking. So that's it. Next time, we're going to dive into the Dead Mines for the first time, as a tank. For real. How do you think it goes? Is the character actually ready? Should I have chased better gear? Am I walking in underleveled? Because all of those questions are running through my head right now. If you enjoyed this, subscribing and dropping a like genuinely means the world to me. And it's what lets me keep this series going. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.